And Edmund is just sad. He feels like he has exhausted all his options. He has tried the regular way, it hasn't worked. He has tried the Love is Blind way, it's not working. He feels like he's unlovable, which is not true. And his teacher reassured him, no, that's not it. KB is beautiful. Maybe she was a sapphire, but she's not a diamond. And he deserves a diamond. Although I completely agree with that statement, I also think Edmund has a lot of work to do. What jolts you awake? What keeps you up? Stay touch with me if you can. Hello and welcome to Life Lessons and Confession, the channel where we figure out our power by figuring out ourselves. My name is Paola. Please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. Okay, so this is going to be the last review of Love is Blind Season 9, Colorado, Episode 12. The episode begins with the bachelorette party. The girls on the bachelorette party, we have our three brides, Eleni, Megan, and Calibria. And Megan's friends are actually giving her really good advice. They basically said, is she worried about Jordan or is she worried about changing her lifestyle? Which is a pretty good point. Because Megan does have a somewhat lavish lifestyle. And her friend did point out the kid is going to complicate stuff because Megan does have this like maternal instinct in her. And she's very maternal. And her friend was like, the kid might complicate the point, but she should just make the best decision. And the same with Eleni's friends. Her friends know her best. And they were not impressed with Anton being a truck driver. They did voice that. And they did tell her, marry the man for who he is right now, not for the potential. And I get it. Truck drivers make good money. Alright, don't get me wrong. It's not an easy profession. They make good money and it is enough for a modest lifestyle. But it does seem like Eleni wants a little bit more. There's also the added thing of a truck driver is not really a prestigious profession. And I know especially in the US, we don't really talk about career prestige. But there is such a thing as career prestige. For example, if you're a doctor compared to a nurse, some people will see the doctor as more elevated than the nurse, even though the nurse does most of the work, by the way. If you are a lawyer, if you work somewhere, and a truck driver, although they make good money, I wouldn't say it is a career that I will say has a lot of prestige. It's like a construction worker. They make good money compared to any of these other, is it blue collar? Which one is not labor intensive, but it's like computer? They make pretty good money instead of all these other white collar jobs. But there's a certain level of prestige that comes with some of the white collar jobs that actually make less money. Now, I'm not saying a doctor makes less than a truck driver. That was just an example. But there are some occupations that are just generally seen as more prestigious than others, regardless of salary. The episode continues and it is Eleni and Anton's wedding. They show up to the wedding hall. That venue was beautiful. 10 out of 10. The one thing I appreciate about Love is Blind US is a lot of stuff ain't ish, but the venue is always going to come. 10 out of 10. Very beautiful. Eleni's in her bridal suite with her bridesmaid. They're wearing this beautiful shade of green. They all look very beautiful. She's getting ready for her wedding. And Anton is in his groom suite. He brought two mismatched socks. I was like, uh-oh. His mother came in. She said it's okay. It's okay for him to be nervous. Of course, he's nervous on his wedding. She reassured him. She said he's her joy. He's her pride. And if Eleni says no, then that is the experience. And if she says yes, she's going to clap for the both of them. Again, Anton's mom is a very loving and good mother. I like her personally. Then she did something unexpected. She went to Eleni's room and just basically asked her, like, hey, how do you feel about my son? Be honest, just tell me the truth. Eleni boldface lied. Eleni boldface lies to this lady. And she's like, I love your son. And Anton's mom is there crying, like, yes, he has a really good soul. He's a really respectful person. He's this, he's that. She's just like, she's cheering her son on. Like she said, he's her pride, he's her joy, and she wants him to be happy. She doesn't want him to be hurt. Which mother doesn't? But Eleni's there bold-faced like, yes, I know he has a kind heart. I know he has a kind soul. I love him so much. I was watching that scene in disgust. Okay. I understand why Alini did it. Trust me. I get it. But that day he came to you, mother to daughter-in-law, and you both face lied to her face. Because she knew she was not going to be her daughter-in-law. So they go to the venue. Anton's mother walks him down the aisle. Alini's mother and stepdad walk her down the aisle. They have vows. The officiant asks Anton first. He says yes. After that discussion between Alini and Anton's mom in the bridal suite, I actually wish Anton would have said no. I did. And Alini wanted Anton to say no so she could just dodge the bullet. But Anton said yes. And now she had to be a grown woman about it. And she told him no. And I agree. I don't think these two should be married. In my previous video, I said I don't think they should be married. She said no. And she ran away. You know, she was the runaway bride. There was nothing wrong with that. I just did not like the scene between Anton's mother and Alini in the bridal suite. That broke my heart. I was like, I felt like Alini should have told that lady the truth. But in the same breath, I get why she didn't. I understand why she didn't. But I felt like she should have told that lady the truth. Like, hey, I actually think I'm going to say no. But this is where Netflix does too much for me. It's just, if these people don't want to get married, you don't have to make them go to the altar. Please don't do that. I don't like that. Anyways, Alini and her bridal team, you know, they went back. And Alini said, well, she said no because of his lifestyle, his partying, his drinking. I'm just like, Alini, you are foolish. In the beginning, I had this thought of Alini just came on Love is Blind to grow her following and potentially having a man of means reach into her DM so she could live her best life. And I said, there's nothing wrong with that. She wants a man with a big heart and an even bigger wallet. There's nothing wrong with that. I am not shaming that at all. But don't try to BS me. That's the point where I'm like, girl, don't try to BS me. You came on the wrong show if you wanted a man of means. But then again, maybe the goal was just put myself out there so that they can slide into my DMs. I don't know. I just felt like at that scene when Anton's mom was being genuine, that was her time to be genuine. And she wasn't. And I kind of get why she wasn't. Anton was taken aback. He didn't think she was going to say no. He thought they were going to be together. And he was disappointed. Who wouldn't? But then his team, one of the guests in his team, I don't know who she is, she called Alini a cold-hearted B-word. And I was like, that's uncalled for. Why are you calling her the B-word? There's no need for all of that. But then again, I also think if people are going to say no at the altar, don't have the wedding. But I know Netflix requires them to have a wedding. So I'm not gonna blame Alini too much. But it's just like, that's kind of how the show goes. But calling her a B-word, that's uncalled for. I didn't like that. Anton's mom is a classy lady, as usual. She didn't say anything bad about Alini. She was just reassuring her son. And we're just going to keep it moving. It was your experience. You do with what you have, and you'll find the right one for you. And she's right. So moving on to the next wedding, KB and Edmund. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared. KB came in first. She's looking at the venue. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so cute. And I'm like, girl, please do not let your emotions cloud your judgment. Please don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. Edmund comes in. He's excited. He's loud. It's his thing. KB and her bridal team are just talking. And they're asking, hey, KB, where's your mom? She's like, she probably went to meet Edmund. Again, another mother meeting the partner. So KB's mother meets Edmund in the groom suite. She asks him where his head is at. He said he lost her daughter. He says his 5th grade teacher came. His friends came. His dad even came. But his mother is nowhere to be found. And I'm just like, I hope it is not that same lady that came on camera, had the audacity and unmitigated gall to say she does not want her sons to be heard. Her sons deserve the best of the best. Ma'am, you're not even able to provide bare minimum. I was actually pissed off by that. Like, how dare you come on camera acting high and mighty like your sons deserve the best. Granted, most mothers believe their children, son or daughter, deserve the best. I don't mind that. But it's the fact that you are not even able to provide that on your own. yet you think other people would do it? Wild and mind-boggling. His mother did not come, and KB's mother reassured him, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're not wanted, you're not loved, you're not needed. It's all right. Don't let this dampen your mood. This is your day. Be happy, be joyful, and don't let this little mishap basically, ruin your day. She's absolutely right. That's a mother right there. The mother goes to the bridal suite. KB talks about how she loves this man. I'm like, KB, please, girl. Edmund meets with his 5th grade teacher. She came in to support him. She has been his supportive rock because his mother is. Apparently, she likes pulling a disappearing act. His 5th grade teacher came in. She walked him down the aisle. I thought that was so sweet. And KB's mother came with her, and they walk her down the aisle. He's like, you're so beautiful. I love you. She's like, I love you. I love the HELL out of you. And I'm like, KB, please. Please, God, please. I want the best for you. And I don't think it's this man. They each share about their time in the park. They each share about their affection and love for one another. The officiant asks Edmund first. He says yes. They turn to KB. I am holding in my breath. And she says, I'm sorry. I was so relieved. These two should not be married at all. She said, I'm sorry. Edmund is sad and upset. Obviously, he thought she was going to say yes. And she just apologizes and reassures he needs someone who is 100% dedicated to him. And I completely agree. She said he needs someone who's 100% dedicated to him, and she's not that person. And just because she said no right now, it's not for never. I'm fine with that. I just don't think these two should be married. So that happened, and Edmund is sad. They spend a lot of time on the altar, just KB reassuring Edmund he is loved and appreciated, and her no is not a signifier or an indicator he doesn't deserve love. After that, they go their separate ways. Edmund walks away. His 5th grade teacher comes in to reassure him, to console him. She tells him God has a bigger plan for you. And Edmund is just sad. He feels like he has exhausted all his options. He has tried the regular way. It hasn't worked. He has tried the love is blind way. It's not working. He feels like he's unlovable, which is not true. And his teacher reassured him, no, that's not it. KB is beautiful. Maybe she was a sapphire, but she's not a diamond. And he deserves a diamond. Although I completely agree with that statement, I also think Edmund has a lot of work to do. Okay? And it's so sad because the things he's struggling with now is not because of him. It's because of a lack of a consistent maternal figure. Yes, he had a 5th grade teacher who is there. She's constant. But that lady also has her own life. And he met her in the 5th grade. That's like, 10 years old? He had no maternal figure during his formative years until his 5th grade teacher who showed him care, attention, and was patient with him. I can't even imagine the psyche of someone like that. Edmund has a lot of growing to do. I don't want to tell people how they should live their life or how they should feel, but I think the first step is knowing his mother is not it and she needs to be out of his life. This woman missed your wedding, but she was able to come on camera, talk a bunch of caca, but missed your wedding day. His dad, who had not even met KB, was there at the wedding, but the mom could not be. I'm sorry, his mom is the problem. His mother is the problem. I am sorry. There's no other way to say it. That is something that is beyond his control. He cannot choose who his parents are. We can't choose who our parents are, our siblings are, and the family we fall into. We cannot choose that. However, when we grow up, we realize our loved ones are not ish. We do something about it. I definitely think there's a diamond out there for Edmund. There is a diamond out there for Edmund. But it's going to take a lot of work on Edmund's side to find that diamond for him because he has a lot of growing up to do. He has a lot of maturing to do. And no mature woman that I can think of will want to be in a partnership with a husband or a spouse who is like a second child. And I think Edmund has to do a lot of growing and a lot of maturing. And yes, it's not fair. It's not fair that he didn't get the same attention and or affection from a mother that other people had. It's not fair. But it is his life. It is his reality. And it is something he can do. I have always said this. Edmund is an intelligent man. He's just immature. When it comes to intelligence, he's smart. You don't get your master's degree by being a dum-dum. Okay? You do not. He is smart and he is capable. But it's just going to require a little more time, a little more healing, a lot more therapy, and before he finds that diamond. But I don't think it's impossible. And although I am happy KB said no at the altar, because no was the only right answer, I don't think he is unlovable. I don't think he's not worthy of love. We're all worthy of love. And just because he didn't have it from a mother doesn't mean he cannot have it now. But it's going to take a lot of work. I was just so sad. That whole thing was just very sad. And now I'm realizing mother wounds might be more traumatic than father's wounds. Wow. Last but not least, we have Megan and Jordan. They decide to not have the wedding. Megan says it would have been unfair to bring Jordan to the altar and tell him no. I'm like, thank you, Megan. I wish the other people had this option. Does Megan only have this option because she got the coins? Did she just pay Netflix off? I'm not going to hurt this man in front of the altar. I pay you because... Stop forcing people to go to the altar to say no. It's so tasteless and tacky. Please stop doing that. She breaks up with Jordan. She says they have a lot of differences. And Jordan is like, we don't have that many differences. I actually agree with Jordan. I don't think Megan and Jordan are so opposite. I think they have a lot of commonality, but it's just the lifestyle. Megan has a particular lifestyle and she didn't know how having a kid in that life would have affected her. Me too, as I was giving my review, I always thought these two were going to be fine. I don't know how a kid affects your life. I'm not a mom. I've never dated someone who had a kid, so I don't know. And that's why I was like, there's nothing wrong with this couple, but that is something that is difficult for her. So she does break it off with Jordan. And yeah, he's just hurt. She's also hurt. And he's just like, we have a lot of stuff in common, but it's just the lifestyle. And then he says, I regret introducing her to my son. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Jordan, please, please. I know what he means. As a parent, I'm sure it's difficult for you to introduce this person to your child. And now, on a random day, they're going to be like, where's Megan? Where's Megan? Where's Megan? It's a lot. I don't like breaking kids' hearts. But Megan is also reflecting on her exit interview. She's like, maybe she didn't understand how hard it would be to be a stepmom. And maybe she's not cut out to be a stepmom. And then she says, maybe it means she's not cut out to be a mom. I'm like, Megan, pause it right there. Pause it right there. You cannot judge the outcome of a situation based on something you didn't know. I feel like these two people are so good for one another, but maybe they just need a bit more time. And I think it is unfair to judge a situation based on what you don't know. Megan had never dated someone with a kid. She didn't know the challenges of having a partner with a kid. Now that she knows those challenges, she can pivot from that. But that's not a reason to say, I'm not cut out to be a mom. I'm just like, that's a bit much. Ease it up on yourself. Please do not judge the outcome of a situation based on limited information. I feel like that's so unfair. And also on Jordan's side, maybe he's not used to dating affluent people who work for themselves. They can just jet lag here and there. And he does need to be a more consistent parent. He does need to follow a more routine lifestyle. His child is in his formative years. He needs his father now more than ever. Not saying a child is not going to need their father later on, but it does get a bit easier. Now is the time for you to be a present and active dad. So I get both sides. This was actually the couple I thought were going to say yes. But they decided to not even go on the altar. Let's not make a circus out of this and let's just break it off cleanly. And I can definitely respect that. So that is it for Love is Blind Season 9 Colorado. It was a whirlwind. It was a roller coaster. But we made it to the end. And none of the couple are married at the end. And I actually think this is for the best. So please let me know what you thought of this video. And especially what you thought of this season in the comment section below. Who did you think was going to say yes? Who did you think was going to say no? Are you shocked by any of the outcomes? Even though I was rooting for Megan and Jordan, I'm not really shocked. So please let me know what you thought, and I'll see you next week with the reunion. Bye.